her grip, as if custom crafted for her. Acquired. Gale Splitter Axes, Superior Green. Attribute 1, Strength 3, since they are dual-wielded, let S amplify the ferocity. Attribute 2, Berserker's Dance, in dual-wielding mode. Attack speed increases by 15, stamina consumption decreases by 20. Description, not only capable of felling trees, but also adept at severing heads. In this moment, you are the Valkyrie amidst the storm of snow. Clenching the dual axes, Zhongli felt an exhilarating surge of power coursing through her limbs. She opened her personal panel. Current strength, 17, base title, 3, weapon, 20 points. 20 points of strength. What an astonishing concept. The average human's physical limit hovers around 10 points, while a professionally trained strongman might reach 12 or 13. Yet, 20 points transcended the very limits of human physiology. With a satisfying crunch, Zhongli squeezed the axe handles. The sensation was exhilarating. Resolutely, she strode toward the gate of the fence. With a resounding clang, she unlatched the door, swinging it open. In that fleeting moment, several undead, previously crowded at the entrance, lunged forth with a deafening roar. Zhang Li's gaze hardened. She did not flinch. With her right axe sweeping horizontally and her left axe cleaving downwards, the air erupted with the sounds of impact. Thud, thud. The two undead were sent flying, one's head exploding like a ripe watermelon, while the other lost half its shoulder in a brutal strike. Black blood splattered across the pristine snow. As their lifeless forms faded, the once repulsive corpses gradually vanished, as if they had never existed. Kill, low-level undead. Experience points 1. Kill, low-level undead. Experience points 1. The system's notifications echoed in her ears, but Zhongli had no time to heed them. She burst forth from the confines of the fence. In that moment, she transformed into the harbinger of death amidst the swirling snow and wind. The dual axes in her hands morphed into 2 silver whirlwinds. With the potency of 20 points combined with the weapon's inherent attack speed bonus, she dispatched the sluggish ghouls with astonishing ease, as if slicing through vegetables. When one ghoul attempted a surprise assault from the side, Zhongli did not even turn her head. With a swift motion, she struck its chest with the axe handle. Crack! The ghoul's ribcage collapsed inward, sending it hurtling backwards, crashing into a cluster of its companions. Perhaps fueled by adrenaline, Zhongli felt no fear in confronting such a scene for the first time. Instead, she experienced a thrill. The horde of ghouls previously encircling the fence was forcibly cleaved open by her relentless assault. However, the sheer number of ghouls was overwhelming. As the commotion escalated, ghouls that had been loitering at a distance were drawn towards the chaos. Roar! From the edge of the forest, more shadows staggered forth, joining the fray. Zhongli felled the last ghoul before her and glanced at the situation on the periphery of the woods. The elven maiden, seizing the opportunity as the number of attacking ghouls dwindled, transformed into a cougar, attempting to flee into the forest. Yet, she had not ventured far when something caught her eye, prompting her to return in haste. With a frightened cry, she dashed towards Zhongli. The cougar bounded to Zhongli's side, nuzzling her leg, a clear plea for rescue. Zhongli chuckled helplessly and, with a swift swing of her axe, sent flying another ghoul that sought to snatch the cougar's tail. Returning to the woods was no longer an option. It was best to escort her back to the camp. Zhongli shielded the cougar as they retreated, battling valiantly. Although she relished the combat and her stamina was preserved due to the weapon's effects, the ferocity of a single tiger could not withstand the onslaught of a pack of wolves. The ghouls continued to surge forth, and if she were to exhaust herself and be encircled, it would spell doom. The two fought in perfect harmony, with Zhongli forging a path ahead. Her axes dancing through the air, carving a bloody route, while the cougar followed closely, delivering finishing blows and occasionally raking at any stragglers. At long last, they retreated within the confines of the fence. Bang! Zhongli, swift and agile, secured the gate and bolted it shut. Almost simultaneously, a multitude of ghouls collided against the door, creating a resounding thud that reverberated through the frame, causing the snow to tumble down. Panting heavily, Zhongli leaned against the door. Though the battle had lasted merely a few minutes, the intense exertion had left her drenched in sweat. She glanced at her status panel. Number of kills this battle, 33. Experience gained, 33. Current stamina, 65,133. Zhongli flicked the black blood off her axe. As she and the cougar returned to the camp and ceased their assaults, the ghouls outside seemed to lose their source of stimulation. The frenzied pounding gradually subsided. They remained clustered around the fence, merely surrounding it, occasionally reaching out to scratch the wood or emitting a few meaningless growls. Although there were many of them, it seemed that as long as the creatures inside did not venture out, they lacked the intelligence to forcibly dismantle the barriers, allowing for a brief respite. For the time being, safety was assured. Zhongli sheathed her twin axes and turned to glance at her companion. The elven maiden had reverted from her transformed state, returning to her human form. She now huddled by the campfire, her hands wrapped around her knees, her crude hide garments stained with splatters of snow and dark blood. Her long tail hung languidly on the ground, and her ears drooped, clearly shaken by fear. Zhongli approached and crouched before her. The girl immediately lifted her gaze, her amber eyes filled with apprehension, instinctively shrinking back. However, upon realizing it was Zhongli, she suppressed her urge to flee. Do not be afraid. Zhongli softened her tone, aware that the girl could not comprehend her words. She reached out, attempting to brush the snow from the girl's hair. The maiden instinctively shut her eyes and flinched slightly, but did not retreat. As Zhongli's warm palm made contact with her head, the tension in her body gradually eased. And she even leaned into Zhongli's hand, resembling a tamed kitten. The barrier of language was a vexing dilemma for Zhongli. The two exchanged silent stares for a moment, unable to communicate beyond gesturing. Never mind, let us have some water first. After the recent commotion, Zhangli herself felt parched. She retrieved 2 bottles of mineral water from her backpack. With a practiced twist, she opened one bottle and took a generous sip, the icy water soothing her dry throat and dissipating her heat. Then, she offered the unopened bottle to the elven maiden. The girl accepted the bottle, scrutinizing the transparent container with curiosity. Mimicking Zhangli, she brought the bottle's opening to her lips, only to find herself unable to drink, instead hitting her teeth against the cap. She looked at the bottle with confusion, then at Zhangli, biting the hard plastic cap with a hint of frustration. Zhangli could not help but chuckle softly. That is not how one drinks, she explained, retrieving the bottle and demonstrating the motion slowly. Hold it like this, she instructed, gripping the body with her left hand while pinching the cap with her right. Now twist it this way. With a gentle turn, a satisfying crack signaled the seal's release. Zhangli passed the open bottle back to her. The maiden's eyes brightened, as if she had discovered a new world. Cautiously, she cradled the bottle and tentatively took a small sip. The sweet, crisp purity of the water instantly quenched her parched throat. Her eyes widened in astonishment, and she eagerly gulped several more mouthfuls, only to choke on the water in her haste, her face turning a deep shade of red. Take your time. No one is competing with you, Zhangli chuckled, gently patting her back. In the flickering firelight, the 2 figures appeared to radiate warmth amidst the cold night, surrounded by lurking corpses. Well then, since we are here, let us make do for the night. Chapter 16. A new companion outside. The snowstorm grew increasingly fierce, intermingling with the howls of the undead carried by the howling winds. The elfin maiden nestled half of her body behind Zhangli, daring only to reveal a pair of wide, terrified eyes that darted towards the fence outside. There, countless shadowy, grayish-white figures wandered amidst the swirling snow and wind. Gujili Ika. She uttered a series of hurried, indistinct syllables, her delicate hands gesturing animatedly in the air. One moment, she pointed at the lurking monsters outside. The next, she pressed her palms together beside her face in a sleeping gesture, only to suddenly pivot and point emphatically at Zhangli, furrowing her brow. Zhangli attempted to decipher her motions. Are the creatures coming while one is asleep? She pondered, grasping only a vague understanding. This little one had evidently been asleep when she stumbled upon these monsters. She must have intended to alert Zhangli, but upon returning, she discovered that the woods were teeming with such entities. Do not be afraid, Zhangli reassured her gently. With a thought, she retrieved a loaf of white bread from her spatial compartment. Perhaps a bite to eat will ease your fright, she offered, extending the bread toward her. The elfin maiden's nose twitched slightly, her eyes sparkling with sudden brightness as she eagerly accepted the bread. Tentatively, she took a small bite, soft and sweet. In that moment, her eyes twinkled like stars. It was no wonder. Even Zhangli found the black bread unappealing, yet this girl regarded it as a treasure. And thus the white bread was indeed a delicacy. As the maiden savored the bread, taking small, precious bites, Zhangli took the opportunity to observe her more closely. Unlike human skin tones, the maiden's ivory complexion was adorned with faint, pale green markings that resembled the veins of a plant, extending from her neck to the side of her face. Rather than appearing grotesque, they lent an enchanting and sacred beauty to her visage. Her hair, a delightful blend of blue and pink, cascaded in disarray, with a few real blossoms growing among the strands. However, in her current state, the delicate flowers hung limply, dulled by the cold and fear, their petals marred with dirt. Glancing at the smudges of black blood on the maiden's face, Zhangli could scarcely fathom allowing such a creature to sully her pristine bedding. Follow me, she beckoned, rising and gesturing for the maiden to accompany her. The elfin girl quickly wrapped the remaining portion of bread with care, solemnly tucking it into her pocket before obediently following Zhangli. Zhangli led her to the bathroom. As she turned on the faucet, warm water cascaded down with a splash, filling the white porcelain basin and sending up a spray of droplets. The maiden flinched, instinctively stepping back, her eyes wide with astonishment at the seemingly miraculous flow of water. Zhangli demonstrated how to wash her face and hands, then pointed to the stains on the girl's face, offering her a soft towel. The elfin maiden appeared to understand. Lowering her gaze, she examined the dirt on her body, then glanced at the immaculate basin and Zhangli's clean attire. Does she think I am dirty? She pondered, pursing her lips, before unexpectedly stepping back. Suddenly, a gentle green glow enveloped her form. Immediately, she did not approach the pool. Instead, she crouched down, and her entire form swiftly diminished and transformed in the light. With a soft thud, in the blink of an eye, the girl had vanished from sight. In her place lay a palm-sized, grayish-white pebble on the floor. Zhangli was momentarily taken aback. Not only could she transform into an animal, but she could also metamorphose into a stone. She crouched down and leaned in for a closer inspection. Perhaps due to limitations of her ability or her lack of proficiency, the stone still bore some distinguishing traits. Subsequently, the pebble surprisingly hopped up onto the sink and rolled directly into the pool filled with clear water. As the water flowed over it, the grime and dust quickly washed away, revealing a luminous, pristine stone that sparkled anew. Moments later, the glistening pebble leaped back onto the floor. A faint glow flickered again. As the light dissipated, the girl reappeared in her original spot. Remarkably, not only had her complexion become fair and clean, but even her clothing and the flowers in her hair seemed to have undergone a form of purification. Emerging spotless and immaculate, the once drooping little flowers now stood vibrant and revitalized, having absorbed the moisture. Zhangli gazed at this scene in astonishment. How incredibly convenient. This method of bathing was truly effortless. She couldn't help but feel a twinge of envy. After their cleansing ritual, Zhangli led her back to the master bedroom. The howling wind and snow outside remained fierce, Yet the bedroom exuded tranquility and warmth.